Everybody, it's nighttime, and I want to show you what the criminals did. They planted all these dandelions all up and down my driveway. You can see them here. They're evil, very evil. Wasn't like this when I moved here. Oh, and look what they're doing up there. Hey girl, you want to come in? Come in here. And this is what they did to my Chase lounge. I'm leaving it here as evidence. I'm not removing it. So first they sliced it down here, and then they sliced it across here. You can see here, this is not normal. And then they sliced it up here. And I want to show you the other side so you can see how heavy this fabric is. Okay. So this is how heavy the fabric is and what it's supposed to look like. And this is what the criminals did to it. Envious, jealous, losers. But I'm leaving it here as evidence. I certainly am. I'm not going to destroy some evidence. And here, take a walk with me. I was actually out here pulling some weeds. And I'll show you over here that I pulled this pile out right here. Right here. And look at what they've done to my yard, my garden, my driveway. They planted all these weeds here. You can see that this was planted. It has nothing to do with the rest of the grass. They actually planted all these seeds here. They did the same thing inside my garden beds, the same kinds of weeds. This is evilness. It's real estate mobbing. Make no mistake, it's real estate mobbing, but I'm not reducing the price. In fact, I have a timeline. If my house doesn't sell, this whole town's getting sued. The county, individual neighbors, whoever's involved. And they could complain to their handler, the magistrate, Judge Gabbard, all these criminals. And you know what? It'll be a public record. And having a public record is better than no record. Because then everybody's names will be out there, as well as my evidence. The cease and desist letters, my documenting this for the last 6 years, video of my gate being pulled out. And oh, I've just noticed my no trespassing sign is missing. Here, let's go across here. My no trespassing sign, which is, it's evidence. Oh, you know what? It's on the floor there. I see it on the ground. It was propped up against the gate, but I see it has fallen. It's completely scraped and it's got bullet holes in it from my neighbor. So this is how they literally cleaned the ditch line here. They really did not clean the ditch line. They made it wider, trespassing my property. Oh, here, they were parked at my neighbor's house. Here, watch. And you see the way the water has pooled up here? That's never been like that before. That's after they cleaned the ditch. They dug a ditch. The water is settling here now. GOT 914, I think. And you see how water has settled here? It's never been like this before. Water here, water there. All this rock that you see here was part of my landscape. They dug it all up here, so now the water no longer flows the way it did before. It was naturally flowing down to this very makeshift culvert, and now you can see that the water is settling here. And they've damaged the natural ditch line of my property. And you see that branch over there, that Y branch? Let me zoom in. That wasn't there yesterday. because I was here yesterday. Hello, Zumi. Do you want to say hello? He says hello. Zumi says hello. So, as I was cleaning up the driveway, pulling those weeds, and that's why I took my camera, there were honking horns next door, you know, communicating either to me or somebody else. And then they did the EMS siren. So you can see here, and this is as I predicted, because I'm really good at predicting things, even though I'm not a civil engineer. But this cement slop job that 9 months ago, 10 months ago, Judge Gabbard authorized, you can see here, it acts as a spoon because it's concrete, it's not porous. And that concrete pours all the water onto my property here. And as you can see, there's foliage growing in all of those rocks. All of those rocks were once part of this creek wall. But rather than bring his backhoe here to remove all the rock there, push it back up here and then net it, instead he left it there, creating an island which is now raised up more than a foot of what it was, and also pouring concrete here. Was never concrete here before. This is also raising up the waterbed, the water level, onto my property to cause my property to flood. Not only is it unsightly, it's so unprofessional. It's so... any civil engineer would laugh. It's laughable at what this county does, or what this road department does. It's laughable. But there was a comment that somebody left. And again, I apologize for not remembering which video, because over the last day or so, I posted a lot of videos. I think I posted like 5 videos yesterday. Somebody said that the reason they don't want me to leave is because this town is banking on me. The town is banking on me. And yeah, they are banking on me. They've stolen more than $7,000 of new items from my house in 2024. Look at how high that is. When this water level goes down in a couple of months, I will be down here photographing it to show you how high this level is, and how all of this rock was up here and here. But it was all deliberately removed, not only by the criminals, but by this shovel of cement pushing the water onto my property. And also the criminals deliberately fake erosion right here. I'll show you. This was all done by an energy weapon, scraping the side of my property, trespassing. All of this. Decreasing the surface level of my property. They did it all here also. And the reason this looks like this is because I had beautiful tree stumps in a circular pattern, and what these criminals did over a year is they used their energy weapons on it. They were scraping the bark off the way they've done with all of them, and it made it look unsightly. So I had to have it removed. And now this all has to be raked up and seeded and stuff like that. But anything that I have created here, they have destroyed. And all of my neighbors are jealous losers. Yeah, they sign agreements, non-disclosure agreements, with whomever asks them to participate. It could be the county lawyer, could be the sheriff's department, could be a fusion center operative, but they sign non-disclosure statements. So they sign that they will participate and that they will not disclose the agenda, or whatever the agenda was told to them about the harassment. Now, There are a couple of people that watch my channel that live in this neighborhood. Some of them, I think, don't like what's going on. I don't know if they participate or not, but they know what's going on. And they anonymously will, time to time, post a comment. And one such person posted a comment that my neighbors, the criminals next door, had $1,000 removed from their bank accounts last year. Now, I don't know if it's $1,000 each, you know, the husband and wife, or just $1,000. Obviously, they did something or said something or communicated something, whatever it was that they violated, whatever agreement wording was in their agreements. So, yes, so these criminals sign agreements when they participate. And Karen Stewart mentioned to me years ago that the penalty for disclosing that I'm being targeted or why I'm being targeted, and that they steal my garbage and throw it in the creek, is $10,000. It's a $10,000 penalty. Now, a $10,000 penalty is a huge penalty. You know for sure that no matter the socioeconomic situation of the individual, $10,000 is a lot of money. And if somebody's going to threaten you with taking $10,000 with you, if you do or say something, for the most part, most people are going to go along with the agreement. They're going to keep their mouths shut, which is why my neighbors have been so friggin' quiet lately. So by all this rock, when there's less water here and I'm more equipped with gloves and stuff, all of these rocks have to be moved up here. Because this is the fake erosion here. They use some energy weapon to destroy the entire property here. But right now I'm just going here to get this plastic bag. I don't want it floating around here. And by the way, there are little critters in here. There could be a frog or a snake. Let me just throw that up there. But yeah, so I will be taking all of this rock out. All of this rock will be coming out. And going back on my property. So, anyway, let me just meander my way out of here. Because then when this rock is in the creek, it raises the water level. All this rock, you see where all this sand is? There was rock here. All of this rock belongs up here. And every night, as soon as I walk out of my house, these motion sensor lights turn on. There's somebody hiding out here. So you see all of this? All of this does not belong here. None of this belongs here. All of this has to be pushed back. And that's what I will be doing. I do it a little at a time when the weather permits. And, well, I don't have my gloves on now. But I'm here, so I'm just going to do a little bit here. Yeah, and this is also to back up the water, to cause flooding on my property, to cause fake erosion that wasn't here before. Remember, the former owner lived here for 30 years, just the way I lived in my house in Manalapan for 30 years. And I'm here 6 years. Sumi, come. I need 2 hands for this, actually. So I'm getting a little sidestepped here. But, so yeah, so none of this happened in the 30 years that the former owner was here. And in the first 2 years that I was living here, even though the property was vandalized, they weren't really doing that much to the county creek. A little bit, but not that much. Oh, you know, I forgot to close the gate here. Got a little sidetracked. Yeah, hi, Zoomy. So, yeah, so to answer your question, they sign non-disclosure agreements. NDA, non-disclosure agreements. And in that non-disclosure agreements, they sign a contract. I don't know how long the contract lasts. I would say it's a minimum of 2 years. I guess it depends on who they are, how, the proximity to the person. And who they want to, if they want to participate, to what extent they want to participate. But this is why I've read books from other targeted people. At least when I was in New Jersey, I read this one book that left an impression on me. I think it was T.I. Paladin, Paladin, and they said that targeted people should not move around so much because they do have contracts and the contracts run out. They have to get new people in. Money runs out. And that if a targeted person moves too much, the contracts just keep renewing and renewing. That T.I. Paladin recommended living wherever you are for at least 4 years. And you know what? I agree. I absolutely agree. Because now I'm going into my 6th year, and I have uncovered every one of these efforts around here. I have more evidence against them harassing me. I have more evidence on the vandalism to my property. I have contacted Kentucky state officials to get my story out there. And of course, with your assistance in spreading the word about real estate mobbing, because that is what it is. When a targeted person owns real estate, it's a war against their property. They have a new agenda. It's a huge financial motivation. In addition to the fact that they're illegally experimenting on me. And when I moved here, there was one medical facility that was attached to my Wi-Fi called the Pikeville Medical Center. Ironically, they specialized in vascular issues, vascular veins. And on May 20th, 2020, I believe it was, I woke up and a medical procedure had been performed on my knees. It felt like rubber bands were wrapped underneath my knees, and I had 4 incision marks, photographed. Don't worry, it's photographed. I photograph everything. They're online too. They're all online. Incision marks on my knees. I still have the scars. The scars are still there. I've never had surgery on my knees. Never. So, this is another reason why a lot of targeted people, when they pass away, there's never a cause of death. And they'll refuse the autopsy. Or they'll just do a very quick autopsy, not a surface level autopsy. There are 2 different kinds of autopsies. There's the full autopsy when they remove the organs and autopsy the organs of the body. And then there's just the surface level where they're looking at your skin and all of that stuff. Targeted individuals are usually denied the extensive autopsy, like Helena Chorba, female civil engineer who lived in Pennsylvania. You know why she got placed on the list? She got placed on the list because a local copper, a married one, was hitting on her, and she rebuked him. She didn't want him. Why would a civil engineer like Helena Chorba want to mess around with a married cop? First of all, why would she want to mess around with a married man? And then a married cop on top of that? She wasn't interested. So guess what? She got placed on the list. And actually, Karen Stewart, mentioned this in the last video that I posted about Karen. That's a week ago. A re-upload. Where she talks about how people get on the list and that she knows somebody, a woman, that was placed on the list because she didn't want to date somebody. She was talking about Helena. So anyway, this is what it looks like here at this hour of the night. They're still spraying the skies. And you know when they're pink like that, you know that's lithium. By the way, and I actually should put my hood up. That's lithium when it's pink. So yes, you subscriber, you're actually right in that all of my neighbors are getting the air quality. Their land will also be infected because they chose to get along rather than speak out against what's going on here. So their land will also be infected. Their water will also be infected. Whatever they're doing to my property, infecting my property, when it rains, the groundwater goes into that county creek and goes all the way down the county road to all of the other residences. So they think that whatever they're doing to me stays here? No. No, everybody down here is going to be getting the nasty water, the nasty air, just like me. But they want to participate and get their little gift cards. They don't realize they're digging their own hole. It's sort of like I mentioned before about how if they had allowed me to do what I wanted on this land, on this property with my greenhouses and stuff, it would have benefited the community so much. My contribution could have benefited the community. But instead, they want to make money on the side, their little side hustle, harassing me, stealing from me, tormenting me. They kick themselves in their own foot. So they think that they're benefiting and profiting off me. But in the end, they lose. In the end, they will lose. They will lose everything because they also know too much. So even a non-disclosure agreement won't protect them because their contracts will end. And then they'll be targeted in different ways. They'll be targeted in a different way. So anyway, I'm going to get off my horse here, my high horse here, get my animals to bed. This is what the sky looks like. I mean, it looks pretty. But the skies have been sprayed all day today. And that's why it looks the way it does. It's not natural.